What is up, guys? It's Take a Look along with my friend Long Dick Sham, welcoming you to a very, very late Raw review for the 20th of June 2016. First and foremost, I want to say sorry for bringing this late. It's been a crazy few days and it's been incredibly hard trying to sort out a new computer that I got and everything else. And secondly, unfortunately, there will be no ostrich burger eating tonight, simply because, or was it kangaroo burger?
Ostrich burger.
Simply because we found out the place that actually stocks the ostrich burgers, where we actually went there today, it's called Greedy E17s. They actually don't order that many ostrich or kangaroo burger in. Yeah, so we'll do that as soon as they get it in. Like, we'll phone up every day and ask if they got any in stock. And when they have, we will actually do that. If you want to suggest another sick thing for this fucker to eat, by all means, like he'll have to eat anything you suggest, even if you suggest snails.
No.
He will.
No snails.
You're gonna have to do it. Anything they put in there in the comment section, you'll eat. Obviously not shit, but any food they put, you're gonna have to eat it. You made a promise to our fans.
I promised ostrich burger.
You made a promise to your fans. You're gonna have to eat anything they put in the comment section. Snails, squid, anything.
Fuck that.
You're gonna have to do it. Yeah. Even if you shut your eyes, you're gonna have to do it. Look at his face. He's got to be a man of his word. He's gonna eat squid next time. You're gonna have to eat squid next
ostrich
time.
Burger or kangaroo burger.
Ostrich is worse than squid. Honestly, more people eat squid than they kangaroo burger. Mum's like,
I wouldn't mind eating kangaroo burger or ostrich burger.
He's gonna eat a squid or something like that. We'll see. But nonetheless, we'll start off this Raw review. First of all, I want to say, look, I don't want my own cynicism of Dean Ambrose to, ruin this Raw review for you. I'm going to tell you what happened, my thoughts and opinions on it, and Sham can also give his. So basically, Raw starts off with Ambrose arriving in the arena via cab, almost leaving the WWE title in there. He stopped the cab and grabbed the belt before it drove away. He then fucking walked into the arena and basically put over the fact that he had a crazy night and stuff like that. He got bitten by a dog. He cashed in Money in the Bank. He fucking, I don't know. He did all this crazy shit. And for me, my opinion only is that I want our WWE champion to be taken seriously. Ambrose is a goof. He's a fucking idiot. Like, I'm sorry, I don't see the appeal in having a drunken fucking lunatic be the WWE champion. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. It could be because that's not the way I'd act if I was champion. I mean, I don't see the point. As I said to you many times before, I just see him as being Stone Cold Steve Austin wannabe in the PG era. I'm sorry, almost leaving the title belt in a fucking cab. I mean, come on, man. Like, you've literally just worked your whole career to win the title, and you almost fucking leave it in a cab. I mean, Jesus Christ. I fucking check my bag all the time to make sure I've got my phone, and that's only my fucking phone. If I had the WWE Championship, I'd fucking most likely never take it out. It's crazy, man.
I'll be with you.
It's just ridiculous. I know what they're trying to put over. He's so crazy. Anything could happen. Blah, blah, blah. But for me, it don't fucking work. Anyway, Roman Reigns then made his way out to the ring. And, he said that it wasn't his night last night. He was happy that Ambrose won. And basically, Roman showed a little bit of aggression in this segment. The crowd booed him. And he was like, why don't you shut up, drink your beers, and all that fucking bollocks. Roman is beginning to lose his cool. And perhaps what we now know is that he was basically suspended at this point. WWE knew he was suspended at this point. So maybe Roman knew that as well and was a bit pissed. But regardless of all that bullshit, he's happy for Ambrose, he says. Ambrose, he asked how it was to cash on Rollins. Ambrose then states he would have cashed in on Roman Reigns as well. Seth Rollins then comes out and says this isn't how it's going to work. Rollins says he is up next for a shot. And in truth, both men should get rematches. And of course, we all thought it was going to be a triple. And that's exactly what happened after Shane McMahon came out. Well, I've just fucking spoiled Raw, innit? And fucking and made a singles match. Rollins versus Reigns. The winner will get Ambrose at the pay-per-view, basically. So, for starters, just before we carry on, what's your feelings on Dean Ambrose as WWE champion? Because I don't think I would go as far as to say I hate Dean Ambrose's character. I don't think you're quite that far. I don't think you like Ambrose, but I don't think you're that far. So go on, tell us.
Him, I don't even think he will keep the title for long.
What do you actually think of him as champion, though?
Just don't feel like he even deserves it.
Why? It's an interesting statement to make. I mean, I would argue that he deserves it, but I don't like him as champion. Why do you actually say he don't deserve it? That's interesting.
The thing is, yeah, when Money in the Bank came, yeah, everyone knew that it was going to be Dean Ambrose. Why couldn't it be like something else that
basically, yeah, you think it was too early for Dean Ambrose to win the belt?
Yes.
You would have offered a shock value, and then maybe Dean Ambrose wins it somewhere down the line, and then.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where Long Dick is coming from in this respect. I mean, for me,
because there is one thing what Dean Ambrose got the Money in the Bank. He quickly cashed it in.
Yeah, it's going back to what I said previously, is that, you know, now we're probably not going to have another Money in the Bank cash in. I originally said we are not going to have a cash in until late 2017, like earliest, maybe even early 2018. That's almost 2 years, lads, that we got to go without seeing that Money in the Bank cashed in. I think WWE did jump the gun a bit too soon. I think if they wanted that Shield triple threat, they could have actually gone a different way about it. They could have had someone like Kevin Owens win the title. But I'm willing to give Dean Ambrose a shot and see how he does without actually, fucking jumping on him just yet. But I don't like it. I mean, especially what left a sour taste in my mouth was that Seth won the belt. And just that pure euphoria of not actually expecting Seth to win, and he did, was cut short, and that was crazy. But at least now we can say Seth is a two-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Speaking of Kevin Owens, he's up next. And before the match even starts, or as soon as the match starts, Owens and Sami Zayn, they fight again, and eventually Zayn gets whipped into the barricade, and he fucking... It's crazy, man. Moonsaults, kicks, fighting. It's just crazy. Eventually, they do actually fight. Owens goes for a package pile driver. Zayn reverses it into a full Nelson. Owens then tries to hit the power bomb, and Sami Zayn gets a cheap roll-up pin, which leads eventually to Kevin Owens attacking Sami Zayn all over the arena, and then we see loads of officials backstage fucking trying to separate. Finlay, we see Finlay. I love Finlay. The man who loves to fight is breaking up fights. Don't get that, but whatever. Sami Zayn and these guys completely tear each other apart, and it's crazy. They really give off this vibe that they're literally going to fight forever, as the crowd chant goes. And that was the end of that segment. Before we move on, though, it's been well established that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens can put on brilliant matches together, and there's no denying that. Like, tell me, have you not liked one of their matches?
I like both of them.
I think their matches are brilliant, but it's getting to the point now where almost, since the Rumble, think about it, since Sami Zayn eliminated Kevin Owens in the Royal Rumble, they've either been intertwined with one another or directly feuding. It's got to stop at some point, because neither man can progress And I get that that's what they're trying to put off. But Kevin Owens, what was the last pay-per-view before Money in the Bank? Was it Battleground? Payback,
I think.
Payback. At Payback, Kevin Owens, didn't he defeat Sami Zayn? He did, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And that should have been the end of the feud for me. Again, I don't want to say these guys don't have good matches together, because they do. But it's getting a bit too overexposed now. Sorry. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they're fighting the fuck out of each other like almost every week. And it gets a little bit crazy. It gets a little bit too much. But, you know, maybe splitting them up on when the draft happens would be a good thing. And speaking of the draft, it's officially announced that it will happen on July 19th on SmackDown. Before we continue, you got any high hopes for the draft? Do you think it'll be alright, or do you think it'll kind of be a flop? Just briefly. Like, not in detail. Like, you think it'll be alright? Yeah, it's rumored that WWE are asking a lot of, like, random names back. Like, you know, I don't know whether I should spoil this or what for those of you that don't know, but a certain Olympic hero, there you go. I mean, I've left it open to, you know, interpretation. A certain Olympic hero that is always rumored to come back to WWE has actually gone as far as saying that he's actually spoken to Triple H and they're on good terms. And it's a matter of if. No, it's a matter of when, not if, shall we say. Okay.
One thing. You know, on the draft that's going to come on the 19th of July, with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, what if they don't get separated?
If they don't get separated, then
how many pay-per-views is it going to be?
Then I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. They're going to kill each other. They're going to kill each other. They're going to kill each other's careers. They will literally kill each other, right? I don't know. You should team them up and have them
like 7 months they will hug it out.
Yeah, but I mean, you should team them up and have them dislike each other. Still.
True, like Kane and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, and then eventually
they become tag team champions.
Yeah, shit like that. But anyway, tag team title picture is complicated at the moment, though, thanks to something we'll mention a bit later on in this review. But I'm not. Johnny, what's his name? Fucking John Laurinaitis. He got.
What the fuck, man? Why did he fucking coming back? Everyone freaking hates him.
He wants to run SmackDown. Shane McMahon says he's not going to. That's it. I'm not giving any time to John Laurinaitis. The day I give more than a couple of minutes to John Laurinaitis on my fucking review, on our fucking review, no. It was bad. God, that people power gimmick was fucking terrible. Jesus Christ. Do you remember Big Show and that fucking contract where he couldn't get fired or some bullshit like that? Fucking hell, anyway. Next up, we have Enzo and Cass versus the Vaudevillains. I don't know, man. Like, I'm concerned that the Vaudevillains are getting mugged off because literally this was one-sided. I mean, they did get some shots in on Enzo, but basically they just did that whole fucking. I mean, the psychology of the match was good. They done that whole thing where basically Enzo's beat down. He gets to Cass, and then Cass comes in and fucks everyone up, and they hit the rocket launcher for the victory. And Enzo and Cass, they win. You got to be. I'm about to sneeze, but you got to be really careful with Enzo and Big Cass. Just give them something more to do than facing the Vaudevillains every week on SmackDown versus SmackDown and Raw. It's not a worry yet, but it can be if it carries on. The brand split can be really good for some people, is all I'm going to say. Next, we have a massive segment to talk about. AJ Styles walks out and basically talks to the crowd. He says even he isn't happy that his dream match was tainted and that Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows interfered. He wants them both to apologize. Eventually, they do come out and say that they were just trying to help. And, AJ says they gave Cena an excuse to want a rematch. And, he wants Anderson and Gallows to apologize. Eventually, Cena comes out and, they actually do apologize. Cena goes on to say, I don't want an apology, goddammit. We had a contract. You had a chance to prove you're a man. And basically they apologize again. And Styles says, you know, he needed a win and got what he needed. Clearly, Styles is trying to cover up that he, like, you know, that he isn't better than Cena. So says Cena. And basically, I don't know, man. This whole segment basically led to AJ Styles offering Carl Anderson or Luke Gallows to face John Cena. At which point, he actually did face Carl Anderson. Now, before we even get into the match, there's a few problems with this segment alone. And I understand if you don't want to get involved because you don't know that much about New Japan Pro Wrestling and all that.
Okay.
You know, you didn't see. I mean, you know Festus or Luke Gallows.
Yeah,
and you know a bit of AJ Styles.
Yes.
But you don't know much about Machine Gun Carl Anderson, right? And I'll educate you as well.
Right.
The problem with this, right, is that they are actually making them seem like a bunch of pussies. Now, regardless of whether you've seen them in New Japan or not, you know that this is not good. You can't have a team, whether they're good guys or bad guys, a team that is as good as AJ Styles and I'm just going to call them Bullet Club. I'm sorry. You can't have a team as good as Bullet Club act like pussies, even if they are up against John Cena. And the whole I'm sorry thing and all that, even though they were just taking the piss. Like, you know, I get that AJ Styles is like, you know, basically trying to back out the match with Cena, but there's better ways to do it. Like, you know, don't pussy out of it as such. Say, well, I've already beaten you once. I don't need to prove it again. Shit like that, basically. I mean, here's an interesting view, right? And everyone pay attention to this, in my opinion, because this, we got a very special thing kind of going on here. Long Dick, he's been a WWE fan for life. He's been brainwashed by the machine that is Vince McMahon. He don't really care much for TNA, apart from when he sees Velvet Sky's ass. He doesn't care much really for any Ring of Honor or New Japan or Lucha Underground or fucking any of that. He probably couldn't even tell you what WCW was. This guy is WWE through and through. So as a casual WWE fan, and literally this guy is a casual WWE fan, look, he's got an Undertaker t-shirt, he's repping the WWE wear. Wrestling is still real to him, damn it. He knows only WWE. He's like a virgin that only knows one vagina. Like WWE, literally. So tell me, if you just tune into WWE and you see AJ Styles act like that, and you don't know him from TNA, and you see Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson act like that, and keep in mind, you only know Luke Gallows as Festus. What do you think straight away of them?
Some random people.
You don't even think they're worth anything, do you? You don't even think they're worth any value. Maybe you think AJ Styles is half decent because he's the main guy. But what do you think about the other two? If you don't know anything about them before, if all you see is this feud with Cena.
Nothing really.
You just think there's some random guys that are backing up this other guy, innit?
Yeah.
And that is the problem. Obviously, people that are familiar with New Japan and such, like myself, you know, would know that this guy, the guy was called Machine Gun Carl Anderson, for God's sake. You don't get a nickname like Machine Gun by fucking running away from guys like John Cena. You get a nickname like that for destroying guys like John Cena. And if I didn't educate this gentleman over here, if I didn't try and unwash his brain from what Vince McMahon tries to feed him, it's okay, my son, I'll show you some good wrestling later, then he would just think these two guys, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, were a bunch of mugs. He would just think they're like Maury. Fucking, like my friend Maury, literally just comes round and around fucking being a bodyguard or whatever, I don't know. And what made it worse, and I'll stop going on about it because I feel like, you know, a lot of you will probably get pissed. They actually had Carl Anderson versus John Cena. And any chance they had of making Machine Gun Carl Anderson look like a threat was fucking dumb as fuck. Now, the club were backstage at this point, but Cena literally squashed Carl Anderson. He got no offense in. He hits the attitude at which point Styles and Gallows hit the ring and beat up John Cena, right? But that points out that Anderson can't even get the job done by himself. And it's crazy. It's so stupid. After the match, Anderson and Gallows do hit the Magic Killer on Cena. And then at which point, Styles hits the Styles Clash on Cena. One thing about that, big respect to Cena for taking the Styles Clash with his neck issues and all that. And I suppose Anderson and Gallows do get a bit of heat back. But at the same time, it's like they can't do it without Cena being caught up in the numbers game. Why can't one person just be considered a threat to John Cena? Now, I don't know whether it's Cena himself, but it's moments like this that make me think back to how the Nexus was treated, how Rusev was treated, and, you know, from missing John Cena and wanting him back to a degree where I was almost begging for Cena to come back. And after a couple of weeks, this made me think, really? I mean, you're still better than Roman, but really? After all that effort you did redeeming yourself in the eyes of the, true wrestling fan and all the people that call it the internet wrestling community. For God's sake, everyone that uses Twitter is the internet wrestling community. It don't matter if you're a casual fan or not. The true wrestling fans who know, knowing the know. No, I'm not talking about marks or smarks or people who read the dirt sheets or people that don't. I'm talking about people that recognize, all a true wrestling fan is people that recognize God-given talent and recognize God-given devotion and recognize when it's the right time for that talent to come to the surface or that devotion to come to the surface. Which is why, to be honest, even like in 2007 and so forth, I really wasn't on the fuck Cena bandwagon, because even then I could see that the guy was devoted and probably was one of the hardest working guys in the WWE. But, you know, each to their own. I'm just saying they need to start taking the club as a threat. Like, have Luke Gallows beat John Cena in a simple one-on-one match next week or something like that. It's simple, it's easy, it's affordable, and I don't know what fucking slogan that is, but
that maybe happen.
Don't get my hopes up. You really think that's going to happen? Look at the way WWE have booked the club so far. They have them got fucked up by the Usos, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, what do you think when Joe next week for John Cena was going to happen?
Yeah, but he's not going to fucking lose to them. Or if he is going to lose, it's going
to be a disqualification.
Oh, but if he ever does lose to one of the club members, you know it's probably going to be because the other ones interfere. And that's not even the problem. The problem is that they get dominated. Even if they lost, it'd be okay. Just don't fucking let them get dominated. But moving on, I can't do this. Here's another thing. In my notes that I wrote down, here's another thing I have a problem with. I've literally put Becky Lynch is backstage saying she's tired of being attacked. Then Natalya attacks her from behind. WWE, you released people like Cameron. Good job. You had a head of steam after WrestleMania with the whole women's triple threat thing. You take Sasha Banks off TV. Bad job. You made Becky Lynch look like a mug. Bad job. You put Natalya in a fucking women's title picture, but you have her get screwed out of the belt countless times. Bad job. I don't know. Natalya's then turned heel and said she's going to be taking care of herself for the first time in her life, but it don't make sense. We're talking about a girl that's had a women's title match like two of the last 3 pay-per-views. And she was actually in a match with the women's champion this pay-per-view. So have you not been looking after yourself all this time? I don't know. Baron Corbin then faces off against Zack Ryder. All I'm going to say is that I'm happy Ryder got TV time. Baron Corbin wins. He hits the end of days, and thank God he's not feuding with Zayn anymore. But much like Apollo Crews, they need to do something seriously impressive with Baron Corbin to get people to notice. So before we move on with the review, you got any thoughts on Baron Corbin?
No.
What?
I said Baron.
You got any thoughts on Baron Corbin? Did you say no?
No.
Did you say no?
No.
That is the problem.
I said I'm happy that Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler are finished now, finally.
Brilliant. Leave it at that. That is the fucking problem. Apart from that, again, Mr. Casual Fan, Cradle Baby Me Wrestler, just a normal WWE fan. All you know is Vince McMahon. He doesn't have any thoughts on Baron Corbin. Vince McMahon has not filled this shallow little head with anything else. What do you think of Baron Corbin? Describe Baron Corbin for us in 3 words. 3 words. Just name 3 things that you think Baron Corbin is.
About him. He got a sick move, but he's kind of a little bit boring.
3 words. Boring, sick move. What's your 3rd word?
And okay at wrestling. As a fighter.
So, all this guy thinks about Baron Corbin is that the end of days, and that weren't exactly 3 words, but I'll let you off. The end of days is a sick move. Agreed. He can actually fight in the ring. Agreed. But he's a bit boring. Baron Corbin is good enough that even under Vince McMahon's shit creative, Mr. Casual Wrestling fan over here, well, actually, he's hardcore WWE.
No, but shall I tell you something? Why I say it's kind of boring? Because he was keep beefing up with same person.
So what, you think it's better that he's beefing with Zack Ryder now?
No, I want him to face like a proper wrestler, like a hard one, like as a challenge.
Exactly, you want to see what he's made of. That's the point.
That's what I'm saying. But that's
the missing piece. But that's the point. Baron Corbin can't carry on facing, with all due respect to Zack Ryder, he is a former Intercontinental Champion. Love me some Ryder. But as you said, Corbin needs to start facing some true challenges. Right. Women's Championship match. Paige versus Charlotte. Finally, Paige does get the match that she deserves against Charlotte after 2 consecutive victories against the women's champion. This was a good back and forward matchup and loads of false finishes. It was actually a brilliant women's wrestling match. However, there was one botch in this fucking... Oh, by the way, Charlotte has an excellent fucking moonsault. It has to be said. Paige hits the rampage, and then Dana Brooke, here's the botch, pulls Charlotte's foot under the rope. She doesn't pull it under the rope. She literally just grabs. She's meant to put it on the ropes, but then she grabs it and leans it against the ropes.
And let the ref see.
Good God, man. She wasn't meant to do that. She was meant to just leave it on the ropes. But she, in real life, she fucked up. She wasn't meant to. Even though it was scripted, she fucked up. That's what a botch is. See, we got to explain to Mr. Baby Wrestling fan over here what botch means. But no, I can't do with this Dana Brooke, bruv. What the fuck, man? And as well, after the match, right, it shouldn't be left out. After the match, Sasha Banks does return, gives like a Nikki Bella style forearm to fucking Dana Brooke. She hit, oh my God. Banks statement on Charlotte before basically Dana Brooke pulls her out of the ring and saves her from further damage. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm okay with this, but here is my problem. Or here is the moment where I am slightly annoyed by this. You've just been screwed out of the women's title, Paige. And you should get a rematch. You should be looking for a rematch, right? But it seemed like Paige was just happy for, you know, she's like, it's okay, Sasha.
You can have
my spot. I mean, I get that Paige is a face and they're not exactly going to have her, you know, they're not exactly going to have her lay waste to a returning Sasha Banks. I get that. And obviously logic, any sense of logic or any sense of the word logic would dictate that, you know, you should actually like fucking be pleased with that. But at the same time, I don't know, man, it's stressful. At the same time, like the women's division is meant to be competitive. I mean, it's you know, crazy as hell that Paige would just let Sasha take her spot. But it's niggling little things like that that piss me off. As well as this, excuse me, WWE announced the Wyatt's return in advance with a vignette, completely ruining the surprise. They come down to the ring in their usual entrance, which I must say, they got a massive pop. Wyatt says basically the family is as strong as it's ever been, even though they lack a certain Luke Harper. The New Day interrupts and basically tell Wyatt that he's been talking too long. They then basically go on and on about some random shit, at which point Bray interrupts and basically says, New Day will fall. Wyatt says he's seen their future and the New Day will fall. It was a short segment. It was a sweet segment. It was okay. But here's a few things, right? Would you have preferred Bray Wyatt's comeback to be a surprise? Or are you okay with WWE telling us like in advance?
A surprise.
And how do you feel about them facing the New Day? I, for one, thought the club were going to be the next tag team champions, although it doesn't look like it's going that way anymore.
That's a good idea. I don't know what's going to happen to them next. They're going to be far.
We asked for unpredictability a lot in the WWE, and it looks like we got it. I, for one, am okay to see how this plays out. But at the same time, are Wyatt's face now? Are they heel? We'll have to wait and see.
Mm.
But I definitely would have preferred a surprise return. Do I think Wyatt's will be served especially well by the New Day? Maybe not. I think they could do better, but we'll see. After this, we get Titus O'Neil backstage. He said Rusev has disrespected him and his family. He's going to fuck Rusev up. And to be fair,
He did.
to be fair, fucking Titus O'Neil, he did go fucking savage on Rusev's ass. He threw him into the barricade. He fought him outside the ring, at which point it led Rusev heading for the hills. I guess they're going to carry on this feud. What do you reckon about that? Titus O'Neil versus Rusev. One more pay-per-view.
One more pay-per-view.
And do you reckon that's it after that? One more.
I mean, after the last one.
And do you give Titus O'Neil a chance to win the WWE United States Championship? Or
No.
So Titus O'Neil shouldn't win the title. And I agree. You know, Rusev should just maintain that momentum. Be careful not to lose it because he's in such a great spot at the moment where you could argue he's just about regained the momentum before he faced John Cena. So it's all good. Backstage, Chris Jericho is waiting for Shane McMahon in his office. He says, I know you don't like me, Shane.
Never did.
You never did for the last 15 years, man. I should be the number one contender for the WWE title, man. I'd rather work for 10 Stephanie McMahons than you, man. I don't know what that was all about, but apparently Shane McMahon said that you've had your chances, dude.
You had a chance in the Money in the Bank. You had a chance with Dean Ambrose. You failed.
And that was pretty much it. I mean, I don't know whether that was just the point of WWE saying, hey, man, Jericho, you failed. And that's that. I mean, at least we got to see Jericho on TV at this point. So I'm not complaining. Next up, we get Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns for the main event. Again, I'm going to say that, you know, while Roman isn't a terrible wrestler, like, I will admit that, you know, he's a decent wrestler. I mean, he hit Superman punch. Rollins hit the pedigree. Like, Reigns hit the spear, and I don't know, Reigns then hits the Spanish announce table, eventually spears Rollins over, and it leads to a double count out. Now, before we get on to what happened next, I want to say this match was very decent. It went for quite some time on Raw, which is unusual. It was probably longer than your average Raw main event, or at least it seemed like it. because I was enjoying it. And I know most people say time goes faster when you enjoy stuff, but for me, good wrestling is brilliant and it's excellent. Shane McMahon then comes out and says that's not how Raw's going to end. Ambrose gets in the ring and says he will fight both Reigns and Rollins on the same night, to which Shane says, we're going to go one better. And for those of you that didn't catch my spoiler at the start of the review, very sorry about that. We do get our Shield triple threat match. Reigns then tries to grab Ambrose by the shoulder to talk to him or something. Ambrose just drops Reigns with dirty deeds. Ambrose leaves the ring, and then Seth, like the snake he is, all curled up in the corner, then tries to pick the bones and beat up on Roman, but then Ambrose hits dirty deeds on Rollins to end the show. Now, that is where we end Raw with Ambrose standing tall. I will say this for those of you that you know, I don't want to spoil too much of SmackDown for those of you that don't like spoilers, but Ambrose didn't wrestle that week either. To me, that is dangerous. Ambrose, two shows now, SmackDown and Raw.
I think the next one he will wrestle.
And we've not had Dean Ambrose wrestle. I'm just saying you can't have the champion not wrestle. I mean, we had enough of that when Lesnar was champion. Pretty much.
So like Lesnar didn't wrestle there too.
No, exactly. That's the point, and that we all know how that turned out. I didn't mind Lesnar being champion that much, but at the same time, not seeing the champion wrestle. I'm not saying the title has to be defended, but not seeing the champion wrestle was bad. Okay, before we begin briefly talking about Roman Reigns' suspension, your thoughts on the Shield Triple Threat Battleground? Too soon, or just the right moment? And what do you think about it? Are you happy about it, or what?
Too soon, man. It was too predictable. And Dean Ambrose won that title, and he said it.
To be fair, I didn't think WWE would trust Ambrose with the title. I did believe Ambrose would win the Money in the Bank, but I believed he would wait. And I suppose that's the big difference. You know, I've probably thought they'd jump to the Shield Triple Threat too soon. You know, I envisioned it at the very least at a SummerSlam, something like that. I mean, probably a WrestleMania, but maybe a SummerSlam. But instead we're getting it a Battleground. I'm not complaining because it's a decent match. But at the same time, one's got to believe it's too early, isn't it? I mean, no, yes, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean...
What do you think? Do you think there will be another Triple Threat Shield match?
I don't think we're going to get a clear finish at Battleground. I do not...
I think it'll be finished on SummerSlam, isn't it?
Most likely. I don't believe that WWE would have this match at Battleground. I really don't. Not unless they had something bigger planned for SummerSlam. And to be honest, it's crazy what about a month does. You know, it's really weird. You know, before WrestleMania, I was thinking, you know, there were rumors of a brand split coming up again. That's just a couple of weeks before Mania. That's when the rumors first started circulating, doing the rounds. And I immediately thought that there's no way WWE have the size of talent roster to do this. I mean, at the time, Rollins was injured, Cena was injured, Cesaro was injured, Bryan had just retired. For what it's worth, Brie Bella was getting retired.
Bray wasn't there.
Bray was injured. Randy was injured. Nikki Bella was injured. Sasha Banks, you know, there were rumors that she was banged up and getting ready to take time off, which actually eventually turned out to be true. The Miz even is fucking off doing more movies these days than he is in the ring, and he's the fucking...
Yeah, well, what's he doing with the towel then?
We'll get to that in another review, my friend, but no... You know, and then it's funny how, you know, you think to yourself, oh, well, do you know what? Another WWE title would be good. Maybe it's because we just didn't want to see Roman Reigns with the belt. But then you get to the point now where, you know, is a brand split really the best thing that they could do? And before, you know, that's for another review. That's for another debate. But how do they contain this feud when the brand split is coming up in a couple of months?
I was asking one more thing. When the brand split...
The brand split's going to happen before Battleground, which is...
I'm saying, when that happens, yeah, Do you think the WWE champion and the World Heavyweight champion will get split up?
I can't tell you, and that's really the only interesting thing about all this. I don't know. Reigns,
If you just guessed.
while it would give guys like, you know, Cesaro and Kevin Owens, and don't shoot me, I know Cesaro and Owens should be like the real WWE champion. If you, it would give guys like Cesaro and Owens maybe Zayn something to go for.
Yeah.
You know, like how Daniel Bryan won the heavyweight championship before he won the WWE title. Same with CM Punk.
Yeah.
Same with Edge. Although Edge did win the WWE title first, but he was mainly SmackDown's world champion before he eventually got to be WWE champion again. All that shit. The worrisome thing is, I know SmackDown's live and I know it's meant to be different, but they treated SmackDown like shit for years. I just don't want to see the real deal guys like Cesaro, like Sami Zayn, like Kevin Owens, like Seth Rollins get wasted. Seth Rollins is the best wrestler in the world right now, and there is a rumor flying around that Seth Rollins is going to be the #1 heel or maybe even face on SmackDown. And I don't know. For me, and I know this is a controversial opinion, I would keep all the titles as they are. Hear me out. Hear me out. Don't look at me like that with disgust on your face. It would mean more. Who's to say this brand split isn't just one big facade? Why can't Kevin Owens invade SmackDown just because he wants to fuck Sami Zayn up? Why can't Seth Rollins be so crazy with winning the WWE title back that he goes to Raw to attack Ambrose? It would mean you're never going to... You'll tune into every show because you'll never know what's going to happen. And before you go mad at me, it wouldn't just be the rights of having the WWE Championship or having the Women's Championship or anything like that in the continental United States. It would be the pure fact of both brands are beefing over every single title in the WWE. Oh, we're SmackDown. We got more titles than Raw, kind of thing. I'm very.
And then Raw comes there and say, "Okay, we challenge you for them titles."
Yeah, kind of like that, while you still retain the personal element. I realize that it has the potential to get messy, but I've seen the fucking thing be split off into 2 titles before. And when it first got unified, I thought it was a bad idea. But I don't like the way how the World Heavyweight Championship, especially in its last few years, was basically treated like an Intercontinental Championship. I mean, come on. When you turned on a pay-per-view, what did you think was more important, the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship?
The WWE Championship.
The World Heavyweight Championship was the first fucking match at some WrestleManias.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I remember in 2009 when Undertaker versus CM Punk at Hell in a Cell was the first match, and
then the last match for the World
exactly
they
should be for they should be for the 2 titles, or at least you should have 1 title, then maybe a match in the middle to get the crowd calm down and get ready for the next title match or whatever. Regardless, but don't put it on first. And believe me, I had my cock out wanking over Undertaker being the champion because, as you know, we're both huge Undertaker fans. But, you know, the fact that Undertaker won the title, I was too crazy at the time, realizing, oh shit, the dead man's the champion. But at the same time, he's just won the title that came on first, and I don't want that again. Roman Reigns has been suspended. Brief thoughts, because this review is probably ran very long.
I'm so happy that he's gone. I don't want to see his video. It's so boring.
This guy's happy that Roman Reigns has been suspended. I am too. Roman, don't take drugs. And you know, drugs are bad, Roman. You shouldn't do drugs, okay? Crazy Roman. Okay, don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. You got any message for Roman?
I wish you do, and then you don't come back.
He wants you to do more drugs so you don't come back. Do you know what? That wouldn't be so bad, man. That wouldn't be bad at all. Anyway, guys, until next time, this has been Take a Look, Joe Long Ditch Sham for the last Raw review with Long Ditch Sham for probably what is a while. Until next time, guys, we're going to get him eating squid or kangaroo burger or something. We'll do that as a one video for you. Deeply sorry about that. Fucking, I didn't realize that, you know, you'd fucking have to actually order them in advance or whatever. But just briefly, this is like your Undertaker shirt that you're ripping. He's got his own Undertaker shirt, yeah. And yeah, man, it's all good. We love the Undertaker. Anyway, guys, again, thanks for watching. Thanks very much. That's pretty much the same. I'm fucking tuckered out since Ireland beat Italy. I don't know what to say. You're gonna be eating squid.
No, I'm not.
Peace.